Ladies and gentlemen, we don't know how we're going to get through this one, but it's episode number 19 of the Last Fan Standing Wrestling Podcast.
I can tell you how we're going to get through this.
How's that?
We have Coke.
We do
and
have
not the
Coke.
white kind, it's in a bottle.
Sometimes the white kind can be in a bottle.
Sometimes it can.
But that's only if you're trying to hide it from the guys on Cops.
Oh. But they can find it. They have dogs for that.
They have dogs, and it's Cops, so they always get their man.
Of course.
Because, that's just the fucking way Cops works. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 19 of Last Fan Standing, we are going to be dedicating a full episode to tomorrow's 2014 WWE Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
One of my personal favorite pay-per-views of the year. I love the Royal Rumble.
It's one of two for me.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. It's the Rumble and it's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because they don't seem to give a shit about Survivor Series anymore. And SummerSlam is just another pay-per-view, really. Like, it's sometimes they do something kind of special-ish on it, but in terms of like it used to be like the big four, now it's basically just the big two.
Yeah.
Like it's the big two, and then there's a couple other sort of semi-significant ones, and then there's everything else. But yeah, so the Royal Rumble goes down tomorrow night, and we are really looking forward to it. There's, I think, 20 people we mentioned when we did last count, 20 people confirmed.
I believe so.
Which is really interesting. Only 20 people confirmed, and it's the day before the event. So that leaves a lot of room for people that aren't confirmed and people that might be making a bit of a surprise return. Where's the Royal Rumble this year?
It's in Pittsburgh.
What's the name of the arena? Nick's phone's about to die.
It's the Consol Energy Center.
Consol Energy Center in Pittsburgh, which is good because that means it's going to be...
So it's a great big friggin' battery in Pittsburgh.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be basically a Philadelphia wrestling crowd, like a Pennsylvania wrestling crowd. And the Pennsylvania wrestling crowds are just intense. Just like they have a history of being like totally super crazy, go nuts, and love their wrestling. Love good wrestling. We should say that. WWE has had some negative experiences in the state of Pennsylvania before.
Yeah.
But that was kind of when ECW was around, like ECW was like obviously Philadelphia. So it was like it's a Pennsylvania promotion. So whenever WWE would show up, they'd just be like, "This fucking sucks. We want flaming tables and Taz." And you know what?
Wants flaming tables.
You know what? Totally justifiable.
Yeah.
Like I'm 100% behind him. So far, what we have in terms of confirmed match card, I think there's 4 matches plus the Royal Rumble.
There is 4 confirmed matches.
4 confirmed. That of course includes the match that's on the pre-show or the kickoff. They don't like to call it the pre-show anymore because it's like I think most people came to understand that like they call it the pre-show because this match isn't really part of the show yet, but now they're calling it the kickoff. So that now it's part of the show. It's like only kind of, but at the very least they have a good match.
It is a really
to start
good match.
to do the Royal Rumble kickoff. And actually, maybe I think before we even get into that, a very exciting piece of news. This is non-WWE related. We're just going to toss it out there right now. Everybody knows from listening to all of our podcasts that we're huge Twin City Wrestling marks.
Yes.
Like we've worked for the company. We love that company. We promote their shit 6 ways from Sunday because it's good and it deserves to be. But that's not to say, of course, that they are the only promotion in town. Because we've talked about Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling and how bad their one show that we went to sucked out loud. Because that was fucking terrible.
Yep.
And we've talked, of course, at length about Ultimate Championship Wrestling our just sort of fundamental conflict of interest with the way that they do shows. But let's put it that way.
Okay.
Because everybody I think got tired of that beef, so we don't really have it anymore. We just have different opinions on what independent wrestling should be. Now there's another promotion now that has opened up in this part of the country, and I'm not quite going to give them advertisement yet by saying the name or anything like that. I'll suffice it to say there's another promotion that has started up around here. And it was kind of an offshoot of UCW in a way and then kind of not or whatever. The big news that came out of this is they have a show coming up in a couple of months in Halifax. And they snagged a huge free agent signing. And it's not one of these guys from WWE in the 80s who can't work anymore, really, and are just kind of there to be seen. Like, I mean, I love me some Bret Hart, but when you sign, like, Jim Neidhart for a show, it's like, well, Jim Neidhart can't fucking work anymore.
Yeah.
Or Demolition or something like that. It's novel to see them, but I would rather see somebody that can actually get in the ring and do something. And they got somebody that can come in the ring and do something.
Can we give kind of details or a little bit without giving anything too much away from the company, like for the person?
What do you have in mind?
Like, came from...
Okay, basically, okay. This is the talent that they signed is someone who is from a major promotion, like a major, and when I say major promotion, I mean worldwide promotion. It's a promotion that you've heard of, we'll put it that way, and has had a fairly high publicity contract issue with said employer. And if you're a wrestling fan, that probably gives it away for you already. And if you're not a wrestling fan, why are you listening to this podcast? Yeah, so it's somebody that has just had a fairly high-profile contract dispute and negotiation with their employer, who was, of course, TNA Wrestling. And we get to be the benefactors of that because we've never seen this person perform live before.
No.
Because TNA has never been in our neck of the woods before. They've never
even close.
No, well, the closest they've ever been is Toronto.
Yeah,
because I don't think they've ever even run a show in Quebec.
I don't believe so.
But I think they ran a show in Toronto. In any case, this new wrestling promotion that has started up in Nova Scotia snagged AJ Styles. So lest anyone think that the whole AJ Styles TNA contract dispute thing was a work, apparently it's not, because he's legit taking indie bookings, and not just indie bookings like, okay, he took bookings with Ring of Honor, but Ring of Honor has had a long history of working with the major promotions.
This is a new company.
In that way. Like, this is a brand new company, has never run a show before.
Yeah.
And the fact that they snagged AJ Styles to compete against a former... We had him on the podcast, didn't we? We had Sims on the podcast.
So,
yes.
Yeah,
I thought we did.
I believe he was the first one that we had on the podcast.
No, the first one we ever had on the podcast was Mark and Doug.
Okay.
But I think, JP might have been the second one. He might have been before Troy. In any case, AJ Styles versus former podcast guest JP Sims, and that is huge. It's huge to be able to see AJ Styles live because we've never gotten that opportunity before. So we were kind of, we can say this openly because it's on the podcast and it's our forum. We were very skeptical of this company. Starting up. Like, I mean,
just
it's just
looking at it,
we know what it is.
Yeah, knowing where it's coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
The type of work that they do.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that negatively.
No. It's just
everybody has their own thing.
Right.
I mean, it's not to bash the guys. We're over that. We had the time.
Yeah.
That and now it's over.
Exactly. So I guess what that means is we're going to be giving this promotion a shot because if for no other reason, not even necessarily because we support the promotion, we just want to see AJ Styles. Like I just want to see AJ Styles wrestle live. So that was sort of the big wrestling news from around here that occurred lately, and so that'll be exciting to get the opportunity to see AJ Styles perform. But let's get back to the Royal Rumble.
Okay. Before we start, what do you No, this is actually going on the Royal Rumble.
Sweet.
Okay. The Royal Rumble opens up. You hear "We Own It" by Two
Chainz?
2 Chainz.
Is it 2 Chainz?
Yes.
Okay. We own it.
What do you think? Is it an appropriate song for the Royal Rumble?
I don't think it's a great song for wrestling period. I don't think it fits the tone of professional wrestling. Now, I say that fully acknowledging that one year the WrestleMania theme song was Snow by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that didn't fit either.
No.
But I mean, you're also coming behind a lineage of like Let the Bodies Hit the Floor by Disturbed, and just a lot of Disturbed music really, and just like harder, faster paced music, louder music, and that's more of what comes to mind when you think of professional wrestling. This we own it. Like, I get it. It's kind of going more towards like a hip hop flavor because again, you had Flo Rida,
right?
Was it last year or the year before? Year before. Performed at WrestleMania and everything like that. And again, we got nothing against hip hop. We just don't really think this song fits. That's it pretty much. I hear this song and I don't think professional wrestling. But in any case, that's apparently far below our pay grade. But apparently. Still, it's not. You don't hear that song and immediately think, "Oh man, this would be good for a major wrestling event." It doesn't quite strike you that way.
What can you do?
That's an excellent point, sir. I didn't even think to talk about that. That was fucking brilliant. That's why we keep this one around.
That's why I'm paid the extra $2.50.
That's not per hour. That's a lump sum. That is a lump sum payment right there.
Oh yes.
So let's kick off, bump,
and the Royal Rumble kickoff show.
Exactly. Hooray!
Hooray! Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus the New Age Outlaws. Road Dogg, Billy Gunn,
and B.A. Billy Gunn for the tag team titles. A tag team title match is on the pre-show. One more time, WWE saying we don't really care about our secondary titles. Because a lot of the time, like a U.S. title match or an Intercontinental title match, like especially a U.S. title match, or a tag team title match will go on a pre-show.
I would like it more if they put Randy Orton and John Cena on the pre-show.
Well, you know what? If the rumors that are flying are, of course, rumors, unsubstantiated rumors completely, but if the rumors going around that, like, hey, whoever loses that match is going to enter the Rumble, well, then it would almost kind of make sense. But they'd never in a million years put their World Heavyweight Championship match on the pre-show. They'd never in a million years do that.
No.
But, it's it is what it is there, I suppose. But we'll start again with that pre-show match. Cody Rhodes and Goldust defending the WWE Tag Team Championships against the New Age Outlaws. This has to be the New Age Outlaws' 500th WWE Tag Team title match. And you know what? With good cause. I actually thought they were really, really good tag team champions in their day.
For sure.
Like in their time. I thought they were probably one of the better tag teams that WWE had. Not a lot of people seem to share that opinion. They kind of think that they were afterthoughts, but like I personally loved that feud that like the New Age Outlaws had with Cactus Jack and Terry Funk when they brought him in, like Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie. Like that was I thought that was a really good feud. It was really entertaining and exciting. And Billy Gunn is in great shape. It shocks me how good a shape Billy Gunn is still in.
Must be doing the yoga.
He's either doing the yoga or he's doing the HGH. It's either yoga or sauce. There's nothing in between. The major rumor, I guess, that's coming out of this match is like this is going to begin Goldust and Cody Rhodes' rivalry.
Oh, really?
The way that people are talking about it now is that if Cody Rhodes and Goldust lose the match because they're both in the Royal Rumble,
right?
It's like, if they lose the match, I could see like Cody turning heel again. Because Goldust at this point could never go heel. Well, it's not that he could never go heel. It's just it wouldn't make any sense for him to go heel. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it would make any sense for Goldust to go heel. But Cody Rhodes, still very young in his career, It wouldn't shock me at all to see him go heel again. So that's what everyone seems to be speculating, that if they lose this match, it could be the beginning of their dissension. You know what I mean? Like it could be that at that point it could be the beginning of their team breaking up.
Yeah.
Which, could happen. I like them as a team. I think they're good. Goldust in ring has really impressed me.
Oh, for sure. Since he came back, I mean, his level of actual wrestling has been, compared to what it was before, I think a lot better.
Oh, absolutely. And I think moreover, it's like he knows that this is dwindling towards the end of his career. So he's just like, I'm going to go balls out with this, and I'm just going to have fun. And I think that's what he's doing. I think he's having fun in the ring.
Yeah.
Who do you got in this one? Which way do you think this is going to go? Nick books it.
Nick books it? Okay. I can't see the New Age Outlaws as tag team champions. For some odd reason, that just like that. Hey, I was quiet there. You don't have to bump that up.
No.
But anyways, it's just kind of like it's the exact same thing as The Rock coming back and winning the championship.
Okay.
And then not defending it. That's how I would think that would go if the New Age Outlaws won the tag team championships. Not to say that they can't wrestle.
No,
they can.
Absolutely.
But does it really make sense to take the titles off Goldust and Cody Rhodes at this time?
If it was to the Usos, I would say yes.
Yeah, and most certain, I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
If it was the Usos, let them have it, because the Usos are friggin' awesome.
Right. And the Usos deserve it. And have deserved it for months. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know where they could go storyline wise with the New Age Outlaws as the tag champions, strictly because they're not going to work a full schedule,
right?
And they shouldn't be expected to. They've made their money, they've made their mark on wrestling, and that's fine. But for a fact that they're not going to work a full schedule. So
here's how I see it going down.
Shoot on it, son.
They're all going to be fighting.
Okay. It's an old brouhaha.
It's an old brouhaha.
Okay.
And one of the road dogs gets thrown out of the ring.
One of the road dogs.
Let's say Villigut.
Okay.
Because why not?
Because why not, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Goldust is out of the ring.
Okay.
They're both knocked out.
Okay.
Everybody's having fun.
Exactly. Everyone's having fun.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who's left in the ring except for Cody Rhodes and the
referee?
The referee. But the other one.
This is falling apart here. We're waiting for Road Dogg.
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So they're wailing on each other.
Okay. So Road Dogg and Cody are going at it. Okay.
Cody puts Road Dogg into the corner.
Okay.
Picks him up, goes back on the mat.
Okay.
Up, but that's not the end of it.
Wow, man, you're really booking this.
Yes.
All right, right on.
Picks him up again.
Okay.
Up on the shoulders, going throw him back.
Okay.
But this time it's the Road Dogg picking up Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
Rolling clutch pin. That's how it ends.
That's how it ends? Okay. Fair enough. So you think Cody and Goldust retain?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just had to it was like a great big thing working out to it. And then it's a rolling clutch pin.
And then rolling clutch pin ends it. Small package. Get the hell out of there. All right. You know what? I can see for sure I can see Cody and Goldust retaining the titles, just because, kind of like we said, I think it writes them into a corner, or books them into a corner, or whatever, to have the New Age Outlaws as the tag team champions. I don't think it works unless they were going to wrestle a full schedule,
right,
which they're not going to. The New Age Outlaws are not going to be on SmackDown defending the titles anytime soon. even if they had them. So, what's the point of putting the titles on them? I don't think it makes sense. So I'm gonna go with Goldust and Cody as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see their kind of rift start happening, because again, I'm still very invested in the idea of Cody versus Goldust at a WrestleMania, whether it's this one or the next one, because they can do the whole brother versus brother thing.
Right.
Of course, it won't be as good as Brett and Owen, but it could still be a brother versus brother thing, which we haven't seen in a long time outside of Kane and Undertaker.
That's true.
And they're not legitimate brothers. Sorry, spoilers, I guess. But I would rather see the two of them kind of have a feud eventually. So I think we're both on Cody Rhodes and Goldust, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with that team moving forward.
I think so.
I see we have somebody in our chat stream. Good old Thunderpin. Thunderpin. What's up, buddy?
I don't know who you are.
I think it's Cody. I can never remember. I can't keep this shit straight.
So,
if you people would just use your real names, it would be so much easier.
Here's what I want to know from you.
Okay.
Out of the remaining 3 matches that we have on the card right now, before the Royal Rumble, which one do you think is first?
Do you want to know what I think, or the way that I would do it if I was booking it? Or both?
Both.
Okay. I'll start off with the easy one. If I was booking it, there is no legitimate reason that the Royal Rumble match doesn't go on last.
Right.
To me, there is no excuse for it whatsoever. But now a lot of people are saying, "Oh no, the title match is going to go on last," and I was like, "Why?" A match that we've literally seen 400 times. There's no stipulation to this match. It's just a one-on-one match. Mm-hmm. And we've seen these guys do this multiple times. So why in the world would that match go on last? As even an armchair booker, there's no way that I could ever justify that. Your pay-per-view ends with the guy who won the Royal Rumble pointing at the fucking WrestleMania sign, and that's how your pay-per-view ends. Because that's what makes sense. So if I was booking it, the fucking Royal Rumble goes on last. The match that goes out first, the very first match on the card, is Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
And the reason that... Yes! 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 The only reason that Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt is the match that kicks off the pay-per-view is because that's the match that has the most intrigue. I'm sorry, Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt and the final blow-off to that feud has more intrigue to it, for me, than the title match. And that's a sad thing to say. But right now, that feud that they're having for the title, I've seen it so many times, and they're not really doing too much interesting with it. Like Randy Orton is being pulled in about 40 different directions, because not only he's got a match against John Cena, Batista just came back and said, "Hey, I want the belt." Brock Lesnar's like, "I want the belt." Daniel Bryan's like, "I still feel like I got screwed and I want the belt." So it's like Randy Orton's being pulled in like 40 different directions, and I get where they're going with that. Like, oh, the champion always has a target on him, and that's great. I understand that. But everyone is gunning for Orton, which doesn't give Orton and Cena any time to breathe or any time for them to do anything interesting with the, not like they're trying very hard, but still, even if they were, it doesn't give Orton and Cena really any room to breathe, because everybody now is thinking like, oh man, when's Batista going to get him? Oh man, when's Brock going to get him? It's like they're already jumping ahead. Well, you can't let the fans do that.
No.
Like you can't give the fans every reason in the world to want to jump ahead to, okay, well, I wonder what's next, before what you're doing right now is actually finished.
But they're not giving them a reason.
No, of course, no. They're not. This is a boring feud. It's been a boring feud. Like, is there any reason other than the fact that other than the possibility that whoever loses this match goes into the Royal Rumble, that this is not a stipulation match? Like 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
or a cage match or something intense to blow off this feud. This, as it sits right now, singles match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship reads to me like this feud isn't over yet. How much longer are they going to do this? Right? Like, how much longer is Randy Orton versus John Cena going to be the main feud? I don't want it to be anymore because it's not interesting to me. They're not doing something interesting with it. In 6 or 7 years or 5 years or whatever, when John Cena's getting ready to retire, I would love to see Randy Orton be the one to retire him.
Oh, for sure.
Because I think, like it or not, I think Randy Orton has been one of John Cena's more significant feuds because it's happened multiple times. But you know what? That's 5 years down the line. I don't need to be seeing this right now.
Hopefully sooner.
Hopefully sooner. But like I don't need to be seeing this now.
Yeah.
As far as what do I think is going to go on first, maybe Big Show Brock Lesnar.
Really?
Maybe. Just to kind of get that match out of the way, because I think that's going to be the slowest match on the card.
Yeah.
But then again, it wouldn't surprise me to see them not do that, to actually see them put Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt out first. And just from a thought standpoint, that's going to be a very high crescendo for the crowd, right?
Yeah.
The crowd's going to be really into that match because they're really into
pop.
Daniel Bryan.
Right, yeah.
And then you kind of need that dip to let them kind of relax until you get to the title match, which they're going to relax during anyway because it's fucking boring.
Yeah.
And then to the Royal Rumble. That's the way it works in my brain anyways.
Okay. And I guess, I mean, we haven't had a Divas match, in here yet, so.
No, yeah, there's nothing official. I'm sure, well, depending on time constraints.
Yeah.
They'll see, like, okay, we've got, like, maybe this amount of time for the Rumble, and these guys have this amount of time or whatever. Big Show versus Brock Lesnar, I think, has the potential to be one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because
they're
Brock...
not going to go for that long.
No.
I mean, give it, like, maybe a 7-minute time span.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. It's got to be. It's got to be between 7 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Any longer than 10 minutes, I think it runs the risk of stinking the place up.
Oh yeah.
Right. So that yeah, I don't think that you can give that too much time. So I think it makes the most sense for Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt to go on first.
I agree with you. That was actually my first pick.
Was it? Excellent. Yeah. Let's go to that match then. Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. This you would have to assume is got to be, I think, pretty close to the blow off of this feud. Just simply based on the fact that, this has been going for a little while, and it seemed like they kind of cut the Daniel Wyatt thing. They kind of cut its nuts off pretty quickly. He was only in the Wyatt family for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they kind of cut that up. I don't know if maybe people weren't liking it, like they weren't buying it, or maybe that was the plan. I don't know.
Maybe that was the plan. I think, it. And I don't know if it was more for Daniel or if it was more for the Wyatt family to get them over more. Because, the Wyatts were coming out, they were losing interest.
Oh, the Wyatt family has lost steam.
Yeah.
Big time.
So, I really can't see this being over. I really can't see this feud being over.
Okay.
From Daniel Bryan and the Wyatt family.
Okay.
Now, you've seen on, like, the past Raw, Bray Wyatt talking shit and, go hug your family because what happens to you from this point on is your fault.
Is your own fault. That makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of foreshadowing that maybe this has a little bit left. I want badly to see something more interesting happen with the Wyatt family because I feel like it deserves it. Like the Wyatt family, when it first came in, it was such a fun it was so cool to watch, and it had this menacing aspect to it.
Yeah.
Like the Shield when it started. Like when the Shield started, it's like, when are they going to show up? You're watching the whole event in just like constant fear of like, okay, the Shield's music's going to hit and somebody's going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Because that's what the Shield does.
Yeah.
And that's great. And they let that, it was a slow burn and they did that for a while. But right now it just kind of feels like the Wyatt family has no steam. And I can tell you exactly where it began. It began immediately at the end of the Bray Wyatt versus Kane Inferno match. Because that match ends, they abduct Kane.
Yeah.
You don't see him for a little while. So actually, I lie. It didn't start right there. But it started the day Corporate Kane showed up. Like Kane with what he's doing now.
Yeah, that's
with the
true.
no mask and he's like a corporate stooge and shit. I'm not liking that. I'm not liking it one bit.
How did he become? I don't get it.
That's just the thing. They just did it.
To us, when the Wyatt family abducted Kane, everybody thought that he was going to come back as a member of the Wyatt.
Well, because that would have made fucking sense. That's what would have been logical, is like he's gone for 2 months and he comes back and it's like, oh my God, it's Kane Wyatt. And he doesn't say anything. He goes back to being that menacing Kane. Like when Kane first showed up in WWE, he didn't say shit. He walked to the ring and he destroyed people. And he set people on fire and hit them with lightning until the fucking Undertaker showed up and accepted his challenge. And that's all Kane did. And that's the Kane that I wanted to see within the context of the Wyatt family. None of that mystical lightning throwing shit. He doesn't need that anymore. But what he needed to be was to come out with Harper and Rowan in the fucking cult outfit, mask on or mask off, it doesn't matter. Because we know it's Kane, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because nobody else looks like that. And that's it. Like what you're saying is, yeah, this dude is brainwashed. And this is legit. They brainwashed this dude, and now there's 4 people in the Wyatt family. And that's how you get a stable over. They have to grow, but they have to grow significant, like in significant ways.
Yeah.
They've got to grow and become menacing. And that's right now what I think is kind of lacking with the Wyatt family. It's like they let Daniel Bryan enters the Wyatt family in kind of a silly way, but I was like, I'm willing to accept this if they do something good with it. But then 2 weeks later, he's just out again.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's the end of that. But everything that the Wyatt family has done since Corporate Kane showed up, to me, hasn't been the greatest. I'm a huge fan of Bray Wyatt in the ring. I think the dude is a great talent. I think he's a great performer, especially for the size that he is. Dude reminds me of a smaller Bam Bam Bigelow. He's that kind of mold. He's a big guy, but he can move, and he's talented, and he's agile, and he can tell a story, and he's a good worker. And that's what Bray Wyatt is to me. And it saddens me that the angle is not being allowed to be everything that it should be. What was the original question?
I forget.
Something to do with WCW. I don't know. Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. Who you got?
Yes. Who do I have?
Yep.
Bray Wyatt.
Really?
Yes. Just for the fact that it seems right, seeing that the feud isn't over. I think that because it's just a singles match, anything can happen.
Right.
Of course, there's probably going to be interference.
Well, yeah, I would have to think so.
Yeah. And just for the mere fact that everything that happens after this is your fault.
Right. Yeah, it wouldn't make much sense to then blow the feud off.
Yeah, to kind of put open-ended threats out there and then have Daniel Bryan win.
Right.
Is kind of... It makes no sense. But then, when does wrestling make sense?
Well, that's a great point, especially with writers instead of bookers. I'm still on that train, and I'll never get off. Yeah, that makes sense. Unless they plan on, like, Daniel Bryan wins, and then he's like going along and doing something else for a little while, and then like maybe for a month or so, and then the Wyatts just show up again out of nowhere to slaughter him and just be like, you thought this was over. What a silly man you are, right? And then just kind of go from there. Yeah. So maybe it might work like that. I think I'd like to see Bray Wyatt win the match too. I think, I kind of think you have to go that way. I think you might be right. You almost have to do that if this feud is going to continue. Right. You almost have to do it that way. If it doesn't go that way and Daniel Bryan wins, hey, look, I'm not going to be mad if Daniel Bryan wins the match. By any fucking means. I'm not going to be mad if that happens. I'm going to be doing the little yeses. It'll be interesting to kind of see which way they want to go with that.
I'm hoping that was your stomach.
My stomach just made a weird little, like, quiet siren noise.
It sounded like you pooted.
It sounded like a very tiny fart, but it didn't actually end up that way. So you think. We'll just pause here to take a little question from Cody, who is in our chat stream. Do you guys plan to discuss Sting later on? We talked about Sting a bit last week, actually, on No Holds Barred when Rodney was in. But we'll kind of toss a comment out about it now. It seems more and more likely that Sting is heading to WWE, happily, because he lost the main event of TNA Impact this week. The main event was him versus Magnus, who is the TNA World Champion right now, and it was the title versus contract. So Magnus wins the match and takes Sting's contract and rips it up in front of him while he's on the mat and shit. So maybe, I've been saying for years, I want to see Sting and Undertaker at Mania. That's my match that I want to see. Even though we know Sting is not the Sting of 99.
Oh God, no.
Or even the Sting of 2010, but he doesn't need to be. He just needs to be Sting.
Right.
And he's got, like, at this point he has 2 months and change to get into phenomenal shape, more than enough time for a professional athlete to get in really good shape and have one really good match with Undertaker. And then maybe you put Sting in the WWE Hall of Fame. Wouldn't shock me. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sting show up on this pay-per-view. Wouldn't shock me at all.
That would be epic.
End of the pay-per-view, maybe he, not saying he should be in the Royal Rumble match, but at the end of the pay-per-view, whoever wins, here's how you do it. Whoever wins the Rumble, the place goes black. And you think, okay, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, is the
Undertaker showing up?
Is he going to come out of
lights? Yeah, exactly.
And just pull the guy under?
But lights come back up, and it's fucking black trench coat, black bat Sting. WCW fucking Sting. And he wears out whoever wins the Royal Rumble. And then he goes and he takes the mic, and the only thing he says is Undertaker, and just drops it. And then fucking walks away. That's the end of the Royal Rumble in my brain. And at that point, I think I would fucking die. I think I would have a heart attack and just die. Because, like, I've seen the greatest thing I'm ever going to see in my life.
Why are you not writing for WWE?
Why am I? Cody just said that Justin, WWE should hire you as a writer. This is the problem. WWE doesn't hire wrestling fans as writers. They hire comedy writers as writers. It's like, hey, if you know a little bit about wrestling, that's good. Other than that, as long as you can write. Have you ever worked in television? Well, fucking A, we're going to hire you. But you know what? That's what I would love to see. That, to me, that's my Royal Rumble moment. Like, Sting showing up, vintage WCW fucking Sting, wears out the Royal Rumble winner, and then just picks up the mic and just says Undertaker. And then that's it.
Nice.
So that's the way it would happen if I was the one that was in charge. Unfortunately, I'm not. But that's what's going on in my crazy little brain. So basically, that's all we can really say about Sting. It's just like it's leaning towards him coming to WWE, and I just can't wait. I can't wait for that moment when Sting shows up, whether it's on Raw, whether it's at Royal Rumble, whether it's at Elimination Chamber, whether it's literally the day before WrestleMania. I don't care. I'm just waiting for that moment when Sting shows up. And when he does, if he does, but hopefully when he does, that'll be fucking great.